the time. Your gateway to the world. AFR! American Freedom Radio. Give it to them.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Okay, are we here? Not really sure what's going on, but I'll just pretend we are live. Either or, I am live. Welcome, everyone, and happy Thursday. Welcome, and thanks for being here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. It is October 24, 2013. Hope you all had a lovely day and are finding a way to stay warm. Woohoo! We are in the 20s and having our first freezes, so that's always kind of exciting. It's officially fall, apparently. But anyways, here we are. It is Thursday. We are joined by Lord Thor, or Saint Toby, one Kenobi, whatever you want to call him. He likes it when we make up little nicknames for him anyways. So, yeah, tonight we are going to continue the topic we started last week, the use and misuse of alchemical and magical symbols. Gonna, talk about sigils, symbols, and stones, good, bad, ugly, angelic language, demon traps, all of that fun stuff. So if you would like to join us for the text chat tonight, that's over at souljourneysradio.com. And if you have any questions or comments tonight, please feel free to give us a call at 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. Tobias Lars is a personal awakening coach and the author of one of my favorite books, Listening to the Sun, which you can find at his website, soulcounseling.com. I use it on Amazon and all those fun places as well. And courseofawakening.com is an amazing storehouse of videos and also where he puts his seminars. So if you can't see him in person, you can catch him in his teleseminars on Sunday. He has times for everywhere in the world. So, yeah, that's courseofawakening.com, and I'm excited to continue this topic. It's so good to have you here tonight. Tobias, how are you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm freaking fully alive. Woo! That's a good thing, I think. I don't know. That's what they say. I'm really not, the verdict isn't exactly out yet, but we'll see, huh?
Mm-hmm.
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 I'm looking at some stuff online as you're doing the introduction. That way I'll stay quiet for you.
Mm-hmm.
You can misuse my name if you want. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Twist my name. You can twist the purity of my name into whatever epithets and nicknames you want to use for me. It's fine.
And God lets us do it, right? Or Yahweh, or Jehovah, or Jeshua, or whatever.
Exactly.
Allah.
I was just looking at that, actually. The Tetragrammaton, which is the name for Yahweh, but take out the vowels, so it's the YWHV, or in various other forms. Anyway, this has to do with the magic and the sigils and the misuse of symbolism. We can, when you reduce something to a symbol, or a sigil, or a word, or a rune, or an inscription, or a letter, you start spelling things. When you reduce life experience, life is what it is. You have experiences that are different flavors, textures for different points of consciousness. But when you reduce and start creating, here's what's happening. I'm feeling the wind and noticing colors and trees and sky and clouds. But me even talking about it reduces the experience to symbolism in the form of words. And since we're doing radio, that's the medium we have to use. But as soon as you reduce something to symbols, it becomes for the symbol-minded.
Ooh, good one.
And I know I'm yelling because we are so programmed. Yeah. Because we are in such a mind fog on Earth, so you have to get through all this, the mind fog, the programming, to try to get underneath and touch people's, oh, I get it, aha, ooh, yeah, I can feel the truth of that. So as soon as we reduce experience to symbols, sigils, languages, we start babbling about our towers. We start babbling and not having direct communication, communion, oneness. As soon as we start relying on our minds instead of direct experience, we create symbols that represent the real thing. But the real thing's too scary, or too intimate, or too loving, or too real. The experience is too real. So therefore you have rock music writers for Rolling Stone magazine come and look at Jimi Hendrix or Kurt Cobain and write about them, but they can't really experience what's happening. They're not experienced, even though Jimi Hendrix tried to call it the experience. So we create letters and language, and we start learning how to spell our letters and words so we can put spells on each other.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with symbols, sigils, spelling, languages, words. They can be a beautiful game of trying to represent something real. Whether it's the Greek tragedies, dramas, comedies, right? That were such classics, we still do them today. They covered all of it. And then Shakespeare recreated it in his modern 1,500 years later, or actually more like 2,500 years later or so. Don't be anal about exact dates. Please don't write me about that. I don't give a shit. Because there is no exact time. Time is a flexible unit. It's all happening in now time, space-time. It's subjective time. And so the analytics, what's the first 4 Tetragrammaton letters of analyze? Or analytics.
Anal eyes.
The first 4 letters are anal, because we try to reduce the flowing life experience into some symbology that we think that our then mind, i.e. read ego, can get a grasp, a hold on, be able to explain, and therefore feel superior to. Right? So, nothing wrong with that per se. But when you take that for life itself, when you take the symbology, the ego, the mind, the understanding, and you guys who know me know I play with that word, understanding is standing under, below, not participating fully in the experience of life. So we then, when we start creating these symbols and sigils and word, language is nothing but an occult bastardization of experience. Language is nothing but a removal from direct experience into getting stuck in your head. And we're not having that much fun with that. It can be used beautifully through music, writing, Shakespeare, Robert Frost, the Dhammapada, not the Dhammapada so much, more Lao Tzu, the Taoism is beautiful. The Tao Te Ching is like, wow, that is just poetic. Therefore, because he knew this language of spelling, he knew the dangers. Lao Tzu, I would suggest, posit, put forward, profess, that Lao Tzu knew the dangers of symbolic ritual chapter and verse. Have we enjoyed the Christian debauchery of the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, the way they pound you, beat you over the head with chapter and verse, it is almost as bad as lawyers. It is almost as cold-hearted and rigid and controlling as courts of heartless law.
Yeah.
Isn't the Torah called that? The book of the law?
Yeah.
Well, do you like that? I don't. I don't like to go to have
It's the law. Just do it.
Yeah.
Do what I tell you.
That's why we need Judas Priest. Breaking the law, right?
I thought that was Beavis and Butthead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Breaking the law. Never mind.
No, Christie, that's when they're watching Judas Priest.
Oh, okay.
No, you know that. Anyway, so and I know Christie and I come off as, we have fun and play and talk about Beavis and Butthead and
Flighty.
Whatever. But the reality is, what I just said there is it's true. Language is an occult perversion. Language, letters, no matter how the symbology, is not the real thing. It's a symbol. That's the word of it. Symbol-minded people are staying in symbols. They're not doing experience.
I love that. Symbol-minded people. Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
And so the fall on Earth was when we went from experience, beingness, our energy is there's an interplay of energies. The mental energy there's nothing wrong with it per se, but when it starts taking over all 7 of your energy centers, you get severe mental disorders. Sexual repressions and dysfunctions, obsessive-compulsive disorders, all kinds of weird modern diseases when we have 7 energy centers, you could say, in our body and 2 outside, actually more than that. And some analytic, spiritual, New Age thing is going to go, well, we actually have 144 chakras. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's this way. I read it somewhere. It's that way. And this scientific report said it's that way. And
right.
Yeah, seriously, shut the hell up.
And so I'm being harsh and direct, I know.
No, you're being real.
But that addiction to mental no understanding truly is standing under and not participating in the experience of life. And this is why the feminine woman, though she may not be able to express it all the time, when she has the analytical egghead energy come at her, she's like, it doesn't turn me on, Harry.
No, this does not compute.
Yeah, but that the feminine is turned on by life force, by energy, by play, by fun, by laughter. Girls just want to have fun. The creation just wants to have fun. So when we start removing ourselves from the creation and going into librarianship, how fun is it at the library? Can you think of a place that puts you to sleep faster than the library? I can't.
Yeah, well, sometimes those librarians, you know how they are.
Some of them. Most
yeah, because it could depend on which part of the library you're hanging out at, right? The office or the...
And you got to understand, I come from a place of loving language, as I'm just pointing out its limitations. I love language. It's fun to play with it, but when you start giving it power, you are performing idolatry. If here's a picture of your wife or your partner, and here's the real thing over here, and you start loving the picture more than the real thing, that's kind of sick and weird. If you want to go to bed with a plastic doll you had made in the same look as your partner, it's starting to get pretty bizarre. So as our culture starts worshiping the symbols more than the real thing, we get very strange feedback. We get atomic bombs. We get autism run amok. We get stockpiles of chemical weapons. We get non-orgasmic women. When we start worshiping the image, we have freaking image consultants in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's more about the image. So that's the symbolism becomes more important than the life itself. It's a dangerous path. Not a dangerous thing, but it's a harsh path, because having autistic children is a harsh wake-up call for human beings. Having your children die in war is a harsh life experience to have. Going through a divorce is a harsh life experience to have. Going through cancer, sickness, these are the feedback, wake-up calls for us that are very harsh, because we have left what's real. We've turned our back on what's real and started to worship the image. I've watched in synagogues where they walk around with the Torah, the scroll. People are like kissing the scroll. It's like worshiping the ring of the Pope. It is complete idolatry. It is no different than worshiping the American flag.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifilan brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifilan. There's nothing else like Modifilan. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifilan banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules. No rules. No taboo topics. No taboo topics. No fear of doom. No fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. And, while we're here, I just want to give a big shout out to everyone. Of course, our beautiful and talented helpers in the boardroom in Austin, Texas. Thank you all so very much for putting on these shows and doing such an amazing job. And, of course, our beautiful little soul family in the text chat. I love you all very much. And, sorry, I'm sicking Tobias on you here tonight. But he is here to stretch us. And, Tobias, you're talking some truth. I'm seriously still stuck on that symbol-minded thing, because that just says it all. We're having a discussion here in the chat of how, words are used to deceive, and how symbols are, they're created by people. And hey, beautiful art. It's awesome that you have these inspirations and can put these things on paper and such. But just because it means that one thing to you, or whoever created it or put it out there for us or told us what it supposedly means, doesn't actually make it completely so, right?
Of course not, that. But like in the first segment, my main pointing out here, the finger pointing at the moon is not the moon. Like Osho would say. And it's been said by many, ancient Taoists. But representing things with symbols is just a game, Movies, that's what movies do. Movies aren't real. They have reels fake reels, unreal reels of projected imagery of light and shadow that move us. They move our emotions. Movies, they're meant to move us.
Yeah.
But they're not. There were instances when movies first came out, since that concept of movies didn't exist in the human collective morphic field yet, there were instances of men shooting the screen with their guns.
Well, I mean, technically, they are aspects of reality, but what I've been noticing now that I kind of loosened up from my, I'm never watching TV thing, and got Netflix, it was a wonderful, many lessons for me, actually, I learned. But what really hit me the most is that they are synthetic emotions. They are things that maybe we want to experience or want to feel in real life, but we don't. And so if we wrap ourselves in front of the TV or the movie screen or whatever, we can watch other people do it and experience it, vicariously through them. But that only keeps us from actually creating our own movie, living our own, right?
Yeah. And it can be a beautiful reminder of life. Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But when we if we think the movie is real, we're obviously delusional, right? When the men would pull their guns in the early movie theaters and actually shoot at the villain on the screen. No, this was recorded. This would happen hundreds of times because they thought it was real.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and us in this larger 3D holographic movie reel called reality? There is no difference.
No? I mean, if you're experiencing it, it's real. Whether it's on a movie screen, in your mind, or whatever society has designated to be reality.
Yeah. And we are programmable humans.
Hell yeah. I love my programming.
Yeah. Don't you talk bad about my programming, boy. I shoot your ass.
Yeah, it's the others. Only you guys are programmed, not me.
Talk bad about my mom or my country, I'll go apeshit on you.
Right. My flag, my football team.
Right. I mean, that's insane. Symbology. Look at the American flag. Now, worshiping flags is idiotic. What they might represent to you is what's real for you, but the thing itself is just a symbol.
Yes.
Just watching George Carlin lately, his last performance before he decided he had enough of this dimension and left this place, where he says, people say, God bless America. And he says, I can't say what he says because we're supposed to not do that anymore now that we're back on the air here.
Yeah, you will not say what, Tobias?
Right, I will write it 100 times. I will not say F.
I will not say shit. I will not say shit. I will not say shit. I'm sorry, Mommy. It's PH. PH it. It's all good.
So it's insane. And he says, in much more colorful language than me, he says, do you think God really gives a rat's patootie? George wouldn't say it that way, of course. About countries? Are you serious? He doesn't care any more about the United States than he cares about Timbuktu, the North Pole, Pittsburgh, or, Cambodia.
Or what you ate for dinner, yeah.
Those are artificial creations. What does he do? Decide that America is more important than the rest of his planet? Didn't you all tell yourselves that God loves everyone?
Yeah, but only blesses America.
That's insane. Why? Why does he love America more? Because we have, the most money? Because we have the best consumerism on the planet? Or we have 32 flavors of ice cream? Is that why he loves us better?
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. So when you get people to worship the symbols, that's idolatry. You are getting lost in the image.
Yes.
It's like worshiping the movie and not realizing there's a projector back here that's projecting the light and shadow images on the front. It's just a shadow play. So when you start forgetting the real experience versus the symbols, you can get yourself lost in the hall of mirrors. You know, at the fun houses, you know, the hall of mirrors where you can't get out. You know, you're just stuck in all these 100 reflections coming back at you. You don't know which one's real or who's, you know what I'm saying? The fun house mirrors.
Yeah.
If you put a cat in the fun house mirror house, you would freak that cat out really bad.
Oh, man, I look sexy in those mirrors. I want to get one in my wall.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get the funhouse mirrors, but I mean also the ones where they're all reflecting back to you 100 images, not just weird, contorted ones. Now, as a human being, if you know I'm going in there, the image is not real, I'm just playing, that's fine. It can be interesting. But if you had never seen a mirror in your life, and you walked in there, or if you were an unbalanced individual, or you were hypnotized to believe everything that you see, those images are real, you could fracture your consciousness and drive yourself crazy. If you stick a cat in there and they don't know the deal, you can really traumatize them. So when we start believing the reflection, the mirror reflection or the symbols that's coming back at us, we start going insane as a species. That's exactly what's happening right now. Turn on the news. That's exactly what's happening right now. Turn on CNN, Fox, Russian TV, Sky Television. We're going insane as a culture, civilization, because we believe it's real. We're killing each other over symbols. We're killing each other over symbols. Do you believe in God? No.
Kill him! He's the enemy! We better get him before he gets us.
Do you believe in God? Yes, I do. Do you believe in my God? No.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane, because we've started to take the reflection, the symbology for what's real. So it's when you go into the world of entities, spirits, pieces, every teacher tells us, don't you know you are the gods. I am that I am. I am the way, the truth, and the light. Jesus tried to say it. Buddha says, what I am, you are. Ramana Maharshi tries to get you to ask the question. Ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Inside yourself, not outside, not outside. Jesus didn't say, if you learn to perfect the image and you become perfect image worshippers, you will go to heaven. No, he said,
put on your Sunday best and go to this place wherever on Sunday. Yeah, now you get to go to heaven.
And the Muslims the same way. And the old Abrahamic religions, you must sacrifice animals. It's off the chart insanity. We're actually killing each other because we argue about symbology and description of life. So when we start playing with these symbols, the only reason they have power is because now check this out. The only reason symbols, magical amulets, okay, the super secret handshakes of the Mormons or the Masons, who cared, it's the same difference. The super secret symbologies, the symbols you wear around your neck, the family crest, all that stuff only has power, and it can have real, apparent power. You can create a Ouija board, and because people believe it'll draw in entities, it does. But we are the ones with the power. We are ascribing it, giving it the power. We are the power. Yeah. And when you say, it's called the placebo effect. It's the same thing as the placebo effect. when in medicine they'll give someone a pill that has nothing in it, it's just a sugar pill, and say, this is the latest research that's shown that it helps heal the thing you have. 33% of those people, or actually more, I forget what it is, more than half, will actually derive significant benefit from their simple belief, that it will help them. That's the placebo effect. It has nothing to do with the symbols.
Yeah.
Or the magic pill. But because you give your belief, your faith, your trust to it, it happens for you. Now who's got the power? You do.
Yep.
You gave the pill the power. You gave the priest the power. You gave the psychic the power. You gave the magic amulet the power. Now this sets up a weird game on Earth of some disincarnate entities, jinns, spirits that literally can be created, and they can set themselves up as gods. Right? Because someone is psychic. I was working with a client today, and this got through to her when I used this example. I said, look, when you hear a little voice in your ear from a disincarnate spirit, that's not a human spirit. It's actually a mimicking spirit, an elemental perhaps, that will say, you're going to meet this person tomorrow. Because it's psychic in the fourth dimension. You can see things.
Like, all you have to do is go outside and talk to the first person you meet, and, oh, yeah, she was right. I met someone today.
Yes, but even if they predict their name, I mean, even if they have psychic powers, and this little voice in your head starts saying, you're going to meet a person named Robert so-and-so tomorrow, they're going to, real details. I mean, real psychic stuff, remote viewing stuff. Does that mean you should trust that little voice in your head?
Yeah.
You can trust it to be psychic, but it can be a totally mimicking spirit. But we as humans so quickly give our power away to outside things.
Yeah.
Demons are incredibly psychic.
Definitely.
They can give you all this beautiful prediction of what's going to happen. And you'll go, oh my God, you must be God because you have this power. When I say demons, ultimately it's all good. It's just a game we're playing. But there are the Enochian language, the Merkaba, the Kabbalah, all this stuff. The geometric angels. There are angels in charge of geometry, the flower of life, all this stuff. A bunch of those angels decided they wanted to create their own timeline. And they need food for that timeline. And humans naturally have food. Babies and puppies, human babies are full of source life energy. They're just, we're beautiful. Life has a lot of juicy, beautiful energy to it. And so some of these beings that have decided not to go directly to the source, God, whatever you call it, to get their own sustenance and food, they have to steal it from other beings. And if they can get you to worship them, they can keep draining you.
Yes.
So you do that through magic symbolism. The cults of the funny hats. I'm stealing from George Carlin again today. He was so good at this stuff. You ever check this out? Hats. What's this obsession with hats with religions? Right?
Yeah.
Men can't wear the hat. Women have to wear the hat to church. Blah, blah, blah.
I like the Dr. Seuss, Cat in the Hat. It's that time, though. Hang on, everyone. We will be right back. SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Yo, what's up? Check this out. The voice of the revolution. American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back, and thanks for joining us here, the Cult of the Funny Hats, with our special guest tonight, the Cat in the Hat, Tobias Lars. And, you know, somebody in the chat just made, I thought, a really profound statement. He said, yes, we are all indeed here to learn. Even those we call teachers are just students with a different pair of eyes and ears. It's pretty cool, huh? We're all students and teachers of one another.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We can get lost in that whole, you know, teacher thing, God thing, idol worship, you know, all of that you've mentioned here tonight. Symbols.
Yeah. And the wake-up calls will keep coming. You know, the universe is not worried about anybody getting off track permanently because it's a self-correcting system. Our bodies are microcosms of the universe at large, and our bodies are self-correcting systems. The more relaxed you are, usually in sleep for most humans, because most humans don't know how to relax unless they're asleep, your body does massive cleanup and fixing and cleaning house and repair work when you're asleep. It is a self-correcting system, so is the universe. So if here on planet Earth, we go off track for a while and start worshiping symbols and idolatry of funny hats, right? In the Jewish synagogue, the women can't wear hats, and the men must wear little yarmulkes. But in the Christian church, the men are not allowed to wear hats, and the women should wear hats.
Hey, I used to have magic underwear in Mormonville.
Yeah.
Actually, I wasn't good enough to wear the underwear, but I imagine how holy I could have been if I would have just listened.
For you to get your underwear, you would have to go through an occult sealing ritual.
No, my underwear already has holes, so I'm cool. I don't.
Holy underwear. So we're very, speaking of Mormonism, this is a good example. Joseph Smith, then in upstate New York, whenever it was, late 1800s, I don't remember exactly, he meets some angels, quote, angels, unquote, out in the forest. They appear to him. They're floating above the ground. There's light surrounding them. They talk to him telepathically. They tell him, with their magic psychic powers, you will find these golden tablets if you go dig over here. And he does. He finds the magic golden tablets with the ancient Enochian or angelic language on it. And they say, we will help you interpret it. He, of course, immediately decides that these guys are God, and we must start a new religion. It's the oldest trick in the book. Humans are incredibly gullible, the vast majority of humans. Luckily now, millions of us are reawakening to the fact that, as every true teacher says, the kingdom of heaven is within you, not within the guy with the funny hat, or the funny dress, or the funny beard, or the funny turban, or the funny lettering, or the funny magic book. None of that is real. They can help you, but they are symbols. Symbols can be reflective devices that reflect back onto us that which is really, originally, and forever and ever inside ourselves. You know? And then you get a whole culture of Mormonism. God bless them. I've had business partners that are, LDS. People are salt of the earth. The people of Mormons tend to be the most hardworking, self-reliant, good-hearted, simple, direct people that I know.
Oh, yes, said the Mormon. Oh. Sorry, I lived there for 8 years.
I know. It gets weird. It gets weird. But, when they do sealing rituals in their temple, which have to do with ritual sacrifice, you know it's a sacrifice religion. Anything that's built on blood sacrifice, in my opinion, is an abortion of the true oneness, of the true we are all children, daughters, sons of the source. Anytime you put something or someone between you and God and the source, you're doing idolatry. Let me say that again. Anytime you put something or someone between you and direct access to the source of the universe, the 0 point field, call it God, call it isness, call it call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't care what you call it, like we started the show with. Right? When you said, well, God doesn't care what we call him. Or it. Exactly. So anytime you put something between you and the source, you are going to be lost in the wilderness. Wandering in the world of symbols, arguing about whose symbols are correct. The Jews are absolutely sure that we're just idiots, Christians. You know? Because, look, we have the real teaching. And some crazy Jewish rabbi that went off the rails, you guys believe he's the guy? We know he's not the guy. You know? And then the Muslims came later, and the Angel Gabriel appears to Muhammad in the cave, 600 AD, and says, I'm going to show you an even more recent Revelation Testament. You know, it's crazy, it's crazy, it's crazy. So worshipping symbols, worshipping texts, worshipping traditions leads to Dead Sea Scrolls. The Dead Sea Scrolls. The alive experience life, but the dead see only the scrolls. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm pointing that out.
Sense. Yeah.
Now you can have fun. King Solomon did have, well, I don't know if he had fun. But
I'm sure he had fun once or twice, you know.
No, I think he was just so busy in his basement doing the rituals because he had 3,000 wives he wanted to avoid.
Man, like one's bad enough. Yeah.
Ladies, I'm busy for the next 6 years building a temple. Please don't disturb me. You know? No, I don't want to make love to you. It makes me all uncomfortable feeling all those feelings. I don't like it. I'd rather be here looking at my Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want life or do you want Dead Sea Scrolls? You know?
Yeah, I'm ready for live sea. I don't know.
and again, I love language. There's nothing wrong. I mean, Shakespeare, you know, there's beautiful stuff. And you can express it poetically. It's beautiful.
This is a good one. Somebody in the chat wrote, Worshipping. Yeah, good one, huh?
Yeah. And not that you see, you can see it all is in the spirit it is done. You can honor, respect, be a student of those that are bigger entities than you. My dogs are, you know, now I know some people might argue with this, but if you let dogs be wild, they go back to a wildness. But there are certain entities in the dog universe that are, they're not really wolves, they're actually this different energy that are part of evolving into taking human forms. You can move up, some people say it's not up, from animal forms into human forms. You know, I know the superstitious religions of dogma will freak out at that concept, but nevertheless, truth is what it is. So you can communicate with them. They're walking between the worlds, and other animals or beings they want to stay just with the natural world. They don't want to interact with humans. But so things can evolve. You can help other spirits and other souls. You can hold space for them. You can share wisdom, and there can be a respect there. and a love and a gratitude. But that's different than enforced, fearful worship. Very, very different. Dogmatic enslavement, called worship, is not, it's not respectful. But not that sometimes people don't need, their ass kicked and some strong talk about straighten up. And so it's all perfect, really. People that need to go through worshipful religions, that is the path at the moment. That's what's needed. The universe has to deal with spirits at the level they are at. At the level they are at. Structure and rigid structure can be very helpful to spirits that have no sense of themselves. The army can be very helpful to certain spirits as far as building some discipline. Otherwise, they just end up as crack addicts and, they hurt themselves. Some spirits need structure, outside structure, the way it is currently on Earth. So it all has its place, It's not for us to say, you should all be like me. I mean, that doesn't work. So, but anyway, so the topic here, if we start giving our power away to outer things. Now, there were some angels. Let's tell some spiritual gossip here. Enoch, who was carefully taken out of the Bible, though he's mentioned a couple of times, the whole Moses thing is a degeneration, meaning generations later has degenerated from Atlantis and then to Egypt, and then Moses was a high priest in Egypt and learned some of the tail end secrets. This was actually when it had turned into symbol worship.
Yeah, Tobias, I'm so sorry. Hold that right there. I'm getting a message. We're going out. I apologize. I'm unable to hear the music, but I got the sign, so hang on, everyone. Stay tuned. SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifilan brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifilan. There's nothing else like Modifilan. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifilan banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules. No rules. No taboo topics. No taboo topics. No fear of doom. No fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right. Welcome back. Top of the second hour here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you would like to join us for the text chat, that's over at SoulJourneysRadio.com. Just click on Listen and Chat up in the top middle. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call at 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. We are discussing the use and misuse of alchemical and magical symbols with Tobias Lars, the author of Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls. He is also a personal awakening coach and the creator of CourseOfAwakening.com. You can find his book and link to all the other fantastic work he's doing. Inner Body Awakening, Alchemy Energy Process, Spiritual Travelers, Sanctuary for Souls. That is at soulcounseling.com. And Tobias, sorry about that last break. I didn't mean to cut you off there, so I know you just gave me an image that you'd like to discuss, but did you have anything else you wanted to add before we went out to break?
No.
All right.
Fine.
He's done. Okay.
So I wanted to say, there's an image there of the Enoch, the Enochian language.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a few years ago, I was out in one of the canyons here in Sedona, and someone had inscripted on a rock this strange-looking language. I'd never really seen it before, but when I tapped into it intuitively with the friend I was there with, I felt E.T. I felt an E.T. language. That was what I got intuitively, and particularly the Pleiadians, and there's different races. And when I came back, I took a picture of it, and I remember on Coast to Coast AM, I submitted it, and they posted it, and I said, we were out in the canyon, and I felt this E.T. language, and somebody said, no, that's not an E.T. language, that's the Enochian language, that John Dee and others came up with. It turned into the symbol of the Magi, the language of the Magi for magicians. And then we deciphered it. And then I did some looking into it, and they are, and then if you look deeper, you could see, it's the same language that actually the Pleiadians have given, which are human beings just like us, in one sense, and they've had past history with Earth, that they've also given to humans. They've shared with humans. And of course, we immediately go, this is the language of God and the angels. Well, we're learning now that angels and ETs are sometimes interchangeable. So and Semyase is a woman that supposedly Billy Meyer talked to in Switzerland when he met with the Pleiadians. And Semyase is mentioned in the Bible as one of the demons. Oh, how interesting. Pretty unusual name. And the language is the same too. Oh, wow. Or just a few differences. The language of the Magi, the language of the angels, as John Dee, the advisor to the Queen of England in the 1500s, how he talks about that he channeled and contacted these angels, and they downloaded or gave him the angelic language. And it's sort of, imagine a precursor before the Hebrew language. The Hebrew language came out of this, quote, angelic Enochian alphabet language, I would say. Now, some scholars might jump on me. But when I felt it intuitively, and it turns out it's E.T. language, well, doesn't this make sense when you have Anunnaki and Pleiadian gods, Yahweh, Jehovah, these guys, and then the Pleiadians and so forth, they're appearing to people, a la Joseph Smith in upstate New York, as angels, and telling them to start a new religion and make sure you control all the people and we have the only truth, blah, 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 wear funny hats, wear magic underwear, follow the rituals, and feed us your energy. Right? So if you look into this symbology is traceable. It's called the language of the Magi, magic language, magic ritual language, the Enochian language, and the Pleiadian symbology language. They are all incredibly close. To me, what this shows is that the whole history there in Mesopotamia from the Hebrews and so forth, they were contacted by ETs that gave them this language. There are some stuff I can't really say about that because it's too off the chart.
Oh, you can say it.
Well, it has to do with the Jewish question, and everyone accuses you of anti-Semitism.
That's right.
Nazism and Hitlerism and anti-Semitism are like the ultimate hot buttons in the Western world.
You can say P-H-U-C-K, but definitely don't say Jew.
Exactly. I would suggest gently, I've had several Jewish girlfriends. I love Jewish people.
Yes, you do.
But
yes, we do.
Earth is a melting pot of different types of beings from our galaxy. And Jewish people come from a particular part of the galaxy. Of course, we cross-incarnate. We cross-pollinate on this planet. We have all kinds of souls being black and Japanese. I've had Japanese lifetimes. I don't know if I've ever been black, but I've had aboriginally, as Native Americans. We've had many different lifetimes because we're learning the different frequencies. Earth is a melting pot. But the Hebrew tradition, they were from another part of the galaxy, the Anunnaki. They came from elsewhere, blah, blah, blah. And some of them really liked the Earth women and started to have sexual relations. They looked upon the daughters of men and decided to create babies with them, and this formed the giants in the Earth, if you read Genesis, right? And so when you do that, when you interact sexually, you create karma. If you create children, you got to hang around and take care of them.
Yeah.
So when you come and create kids on Earth, you're going to be stuck in the Earth for a while in your reincarnational sphere to help make sure you complete the cycle. So some of the beings got left behind on Earth from a particular part of the galaxy, and it's the same for all of them. The Aborigines, the Japanese, the red people, the white people were all originally from different parts of the galaxy. But so the Jews were left. That's why they kept talking to their people from, the ETs, and their religions were birthed out of the ETs. The holy language, the Enochian language, the Hebrew language are ET languages. The Pleiadian language is the same as the Enochian from which the Hebrew language is developed. So it's really an intergalactic ET story. And by the way, this is why beautiful people within that soul group, how about that? Within that soul group, like Steven Spielberg, makes movies, check this out, about phone home.
Wow.
E.T. phone home. And Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Because there is a real longing for many of us, there are starseeds from across the galaxy, of phoning home. We know this is not our home. So, yeah. Now, that's not the only tradition, but that became the Western tradition on Earth. For us, it spread across and became Christianity and so forth. But other traditions, like in the Hindu traditions, or the Vedic traditions, that's a whole different ballgame. The Aboriginal traditions in Australia, they are operating in quantum dream time. They are operating in no time space. They're in a whole different universe. And the Asiatic are from a different part of the galaxy too. The Earth is really a melting pot. But anyway, so speaking of this symbology, and therefore people will get obsessed with this whole thing, the Bible code a few years ago. The Bible code, the Pentateuch and the Torah, they're just written there. There's this magic creation. It's true. It's a magic creation. But magic is not the beautiful heart of life. Magic is a fallen way of interpreting life. Hear that again. Magic is a fallen way of interpreting life. Become ye as little children, regain the innocence of the open heart is the true magic, the true just simple living, direct contact, direct hookup, link up to God's source. Once you devolve into magic and ritual, you have disconnected yourself from the simple direct hookup of the innocent heart.
Wow. It's powerful.
Yeah. So the teachers have always come and said, suffer unto me, bring me the little children. Become ye, unless you become as little kids, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. I'm using Jesus' language here and his quoting because that's still so deeply programmed and culturated into the Western world that I need to use that. If I was in India, I would not be using it. I would be using their imagery, their symbology, to get them to look beyond the symbology. Every teacher says the same thing. Buddha starts laughing and goes, we're all it. You're it. I'm it. We all have a direct hookup, link up to the source field, to God. Now, Buddha doesn't use God because he knows people tend to get fanatic about God and kill each other about whose God is bigger and stronger. So he says, there is no God. He's not saying that. He's saying there's a one force field, source field, love field that we are all within. We are all part of the oneness. And they still divide Buddhism into separate sects and cults. Because we're fanatic that way. The only one that pulled it off was Lao Tzu, so that no one started any cults with his teaching. He's the only one so far that's pulled it off. because he spoke not in direct language. He didn't create symbols. He spoke in poetic language. He spoke with barely creating the symbols and the translations. He spoke from the essence. And when you read the Tao Te Ching, there's something that rings true, reverberates in you, that's got such deep wisdom. But because he's not spelling it out. He is keeping it in the realm of beauty and artistry and frequency. He's not spelling it out. Therefore, you can't create sects and things against each other inside of Taoism. So it never happened. But his work survives. Taoism is alive and well, but it is a little bit removed from the battlefield of the ego mind here on earth. Taoism will never fight you and tell you it will. There's the ultimate martial arts were the Taoists. They will reflect to you your shit, your stuff, but they will never proselytize. They will never push their stuff. You have to find it in you, and then it appears outside you. It's not like the Mormons or the Muslims. We will not convert you by the tip of the sword. We will not proselytize. We will not push on you to join us. That's the difference.
True.
You have proselytizing religions because they need meat to feed on, whether that's Scientology and L. Ron Hubbard, LRH, actually telling his inner circle, we need more meat. He used to say that to his inner circle. We need more meat. Or the Jehovah's Witnesses or the Mormons or whoever that's out there recruiting. Because we need more meat to feed on. What kind of religion can't feed itself? What kind of if we are the source, the life force erupts in our very being, my cup runneth over, I am full of the life force. Why would you need to go out and get more energy from other innocent young people? You don't. So the religions that need to proselytize and get converts is because they don't have it. They don't have their own source. So they need new converts. Any proselytizing religion is a vampire religion.
Amen. Amen Ra. Oh my God, did she say that? Didn't you know what that means? I'm symbol-minded.
And it's all good if it leads you home. You know, like Akhenaten or the sun, Ra, they were at least going, okay, the sun is the life giver. We're not worshiping the physical sun, but we want to remind ourselves that I am also a sun. I am also an effervescing eternal source fountain of the life force, Kundalini, Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit, Chi, Tai Chi, Qigong. This is a fact, that we are potential stargates. Each and every human is a potential stargate. And we are remembering now, we're heading back to that era where we can start living directly, not by bread alone. I have food you know not of, Jeshua the Master says. What's he talking about? He's talking about I'm living off the life force directly in me that's coming directly from God, from Source. I don't need to eat as much beef as you guys.
Yeah.
To feed.
He's like, save your meat. I need it.
Yeah. I mean, we're cannibals on this earth. We're cannibals. 35 million cows are eaten in America alone every year.
I didn't want the cow meat.
That's cannibalism. We're eating the very body of God.
Yeah.
You know, it gets twisted. Here's the body of God. Please be a cannibal and eat a pound of flesh of Jesus' body. Amen. You know? So this is what we're reawakening from. When we are disconnected from Source, the magical languages can be used to help us get back to reopening some stargates. But unless you know what you're doing, you can open it to some entities that you're not going to have a good time with. So this is why the injunction against willy-nilly playing with these. There are larger spirits than humans. Jehovah is an Anunnaki officer.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifilan brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifilan. There's nothing else like Modifilan. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifilan banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Welcome to the world's meeting place. American
It's practically narcotics.
Freedom
Oh, yes, I like very much.
Radio.
You're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
So welcome back, everyone. Tobias Lars here, SoulJourneysRadio.com. You're sharing all sorts of good mind-bending, paradigm-shattering information with us here tonight. And, Tobias, I kind of cut you off again on the last break.
Yeah, I forgot where we were, to be honest.
There's something about me needing more meat.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're just the cat in the hat. So, okay.
No, honey, you filled out nicely when I saw you last time.
I hate you. I swear to God. Tobias is the only mofo that can tell a woman, "Oh, you've gained weight. You look great," and get away with it. So, yeah, if he is not a god in human form, I don't know what is. Because, normally that's where you get punched.
A clear run to the exit door. That's all.
Yeah, that's right. He wasn't very... You were standing back about 15 feet when you said it, so you got it down. You know how to do it.
I had my helmet on.
Yeah. And your cup.
Exactly.
You're right. I had a broken hand when you said that. Or no, maybe you broke my hand after I kicked you in the balls.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, how could I forget?
Hey, guys, good idea, by the way. If you start telling truth to your woman, make sure you wear a helmet and your cup.
Yes. Okay. No, we're actually talking about stuff here. All these cool little languages. You were getting into the Enochian and Pleiadian.
There's a magic language called Passing the River, too. And this is what I actually saw out in the canyon. Now, I'm not a follower or studier of this. I've never applied it. I've never written the symbols. But just intuitively, and I looked it up, to look at this. But so some of these, the language of magic, the Enochian, Passing the River, and the Pleiadian language are you can tell that they were from the same place. They've originated from a similar source or a common past. And so what we tend to worship in the Western world as the sacred languages, the magic languages, the symbology, I would suggest, come from certain ETs that used them to impress us, to get us to use them on Earth for various purposes, of them having energy they get from Earth, being able to land here, come into our fields, abduct people, blah, blah, blah. There's many different races here doing different things. But this particular language has to do with, it's an angelic language, but don't worship these symbols. If you start worshiping them and giving them more credit and power than they have, or should have, things get topsy-turvy, fast actors, the cart before the horse. And that's what happens with religions. But you could also say on one level, it is perfectly okay. When I work with people in personal sessions, when they're coming out of Jehovah's Witnesses or, some organized structure, Scientology, even Hindu stuff, it doesn't matter. Any structured system is not the real thing. It's the symbology. It's you're worshiping the system. You're worshiping the gods, the symbols, the stories. When I work with people coming out of it, we end up with an appreciation for them having, quote, been brainwashed into this particular culture or religionism. Because in a way, it does give structure to some souls. Some structure is better than chaos, unless it's divine chaos, anarchy. But some souls need it. Anyway, we usually end up with an appreciation, or you could say a forgiveness, for these, what we may feel are very restrictive or mind-controlled religions. There is a reason for the whole game. As usual, when you see the whole bigger picture, you understand why these things happen. The millions of us now are ready to wake up from the sleepwalking, hypno-narcoleptic sleepwalk we've been doing on Earth, of being disconnected from direct access to Source, God, energy within us. So that's what's happening. So that's my intent with this. If you get involved with worshiping magical symbols, you are not being direct with nature, direct with that which is naturally available, naturally beautiful, naturally you. And every true teacher, as Eckhart Tolle says, the very few that are real, they teach the same thing, which is, it's a loving universe, it's a benevolent universe. It loves you, it wants you to have freedom, and if you're a free will being, not all are, if you're a free will spirit, like humans are, not all spirits in the galaxy have free will, but we do. And not all humans are the same. There are very advanced beings on this planet, and some people with human bodies are just barely evolved up from the animal kingdom. Now, I know that's spiritually incorrect to say, but we are not the same. We simply are not. Just because you have a human body doesn't mean you're all equal. There are spirits here that are ready to become gods, or be able to be entrusted with the keys to materiality and energy and freedom, and others that still need very strong guidance by outer laws and police forces. So God Source has a varied, multi-layered experience that occurs on Earth. For those that are ready to move beyond symbols and not remain symbol-minded, but move beyond that, this is a good time on Earth to move into a bigger, deeper, wider understanding, knowing, understanding, of that. So that's my hope as we talk about this, for those that can hear it and want to hear it, that you're it. You have everything inside you, but others can help you, but don't give your power away unless that's the lesson you're going through. But I'm not here for that. I've been there, done that. I've had enough of autocratic, authoritarian, controlled, top-down religions.
Yeah.
I'm interested in creating the new paradigm of co-creation, playing as equals, the gathering of equals, the respectful free will, allowing us to regain our powers. Once we regain our naturally birthright, birth-given powers of materialization, manifestation, reality creation, energy mastery, and we do that with heart, then there are no shortages anymore, no incantations needed. It is all readily there. Does Jesus do magic rituals? Of course not. He's got no need for that. Things just appear. As you think about them, they appear. As you think it, so it is. As you decide, So real mastery is not using any of this symbology and magical ritual. But there's nothing wrong with it per se, unless you're giving it power. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a beautiful symbology. There's nothing wrong with enjoying writing beautiful languages and things.
Yeah.
You know, nothing wrong.
Cool.
Creating pyramids and creating beautiful symbols of this, that, and the other as pieces of art. But feel this. Every piece of art is a forgery. I have an article somewhere on the internet called Every Art Masterpiece is a Forgery. Every art masterpiece is a forgery. Think about it. Michelangelo doing the David, that's not David. That's a copy of David. It is a dead statue. It is not alive. Every art masterpiece is simply trying to copy something that life already made.
Yeah.
Raphael, the Renaissance painters, El Greco, Raphael, Michelangelo, they are the Greek statues that they were trying to copy are still the gods frozen in stone. The gods are frozen, imprisoned in stone. Every art masterpiece is a forgery. Because the really only true artist there is God, Source, the life. So when you are trying to capture the beauty of the female or male form in a statue, you are making a copy. So the real life is not wandering through the museums and looking at 4,000-year-old statues, even though on the copy of my book, Shackled Gods, I have a copy of the Laocoon, this incredibly beautiful statue of Laocoon. It's in the Vatican, the statue. They have no idea who made it. It's, quote, lost in antiquity, the creator. We have no idea. Michelangelo would go study the Laocoon. It's a picture of the priests of Troy. He's trying to warn Troy about the impending doom. If they don't change their ways, the Trojan horse will come, and these sea serpents stirred up by a vengeful, jealous Greek god Poseidon come and devour the Laocoon and his two sons. It's a beautiful statue. Laocoon, something like that. But it's still a copy, even though Raphael and Michelangelo said this is the ultimate masterpiece ever made. So real life is not in symbols. The Pietà might be a priceless piece of art treasure. It is still a forgery. The Pietà is the famous statue of Mother Mary holding the dead body of Christ that sits on their right as you walk into the Vatican, into the St. Peter's. So, do you want a copy, or do you want the real thing?
I want the real thing, thank you.
And you can enjoy the copy, the facsimile, the forgery, the symbology.
Vibrator.
You can enjoy. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you start actually believing that the $10,000 plastic mannequin woman that you bought, believe me, it's already happened.
The vibrations are real.
If you start believing that's a real woman or that's a real man, you're going to go down an artificial dead-end idolatry path. But as long as you're aware of that this is just a game I'm playing, you know, you're fine. You won't get caught in the crazy house with the cracked mirrors. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to point out with symbology. Yes, does it work? Sure. Did Solomon conjure jinns and entities and they helped him lift the rocks? Yes, he did. Did Stonehenge get created by actually levitating those rocks? Would they sing and vibrate? And would the people touch the rocks and feel the energy from them? Yes, they would. But who's more powerful? The granite rock, beautiful as it is, granite is a very special material. The obelisks and the sacred sarcophagus and the pyramid of initiation are made from a particular granite, because granite can hold memories, can store information, store energies, project you into the past and the future. It's very special, granite. Granite is a very unusual stone. It is the Stonehenge, the henge of the stones. It is still a copy, a facsimile, a ritualistic degeneration from the ultimate source contact antenna receiver sender mechanism, which is the human spinal column. We are the ultimate energy receivers and senders. Can we create stone circles? Can we create levitating stones and incredible pyramids? Can we create an earth grid through obelisks that harvest the energy from the 0-point field? Yes, we can. But that is still a fallen system. A fallen system. Because Jesus, Buddha, Babaji, Krishna, Mataji, Anandamoyi Ma, Kuan Yin, Saint Francis, Saint Teresa, thousands of saints and true God-awakened people, all the siddhas, they don't need technology. Because they know they are the fountain of youth. They are El Dorado. They are the source. I and my mother, I and the source field, I and the 0-point field, I and my Father are one and the same.
Absolutely. Very well said, Tobias. And, you know, I'm just looking at the time. We got a break coming in here in a second. And there were a couple things we discussed talking about in the show promo, Led Zeppelin and what they were doing on the 4 album and Moldavite. So maybe we can touch on that after these few short minutes. Stay tuned. SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
News and information you can trust. This is American Freedom Radio. Freedom, American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
Last segment with Tobias Lars. He is a personal awakening coach, very good in soul retrievals, and just, you know what, he just kicks butt. He's also the creator of Course of Awakening and the author of one of my favorite books, Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls, which you can find at his website, soulcounseling.com. And here, I'm going to post another image here in the text chat over at souljourneysradio.com. This was one of the things we intended to talk about tonight. Tobias, you asked, what was Led Zeppelin doing here? And maybe everybody knows the album. I guess we had to, us little people had to call it 4, right? Mm-hmm. With the 4 symbols and badass album, by the way. But yeah, so speaking of symbols and such, what's going on there?
Well, much has been made of, you know, Jimmy Page's interest in magic. And so with the fact that he buys Aleister Crowley's old mansion, you know. And so his symbol is the Z-O, it looks like so-so, Z-O-S-O. And he, instead of calling the album, they didn't want to call it Led Zeppelin 4 or something.
4 is too boring.
So they said, so Jimmy Page said, well, you all need to come up with a symbol that is like your personal symbol. And the other guys are like, okay, what are you talking about? Right? Mm-hmm. So Robert Plant uses the symbol of Ma'at, a feather, Ma'at, the Egyptian goddess of justice, and meaning at the end of your life there's the scales of justice, and there's a feather on one side, and if your karma or the weight of your stuff from your life was heavier than a feather, you had to reincarnate and go clean yourself up. Uh-huh. It's also an ancient symbol, Plant has said, that comes from the ancient civilization of Mu. Obviously Led Zeppelin was a very powerful group bringing in energy to the planet. Now, Jimmy Page, there's also a symbol, I can't remember, it's from the 1700s somewhere, and it was in a book of magic, the magical alphabets we've been talking about. So the boys, for whatever reason, or the Led Zeppelin here, decided to reactivate us. And the other two have sort of basic symbols, like the 3 interlocking rings. Maybe John Bonham just picked those because it looked like drums. Who knows?
That's pretty. That's pretty. And it really says a lot about their self-confidence that they all didn't pick, like, Washington monuments.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's bigger than yours.
Yeah. Yeah. And so these symbols are not, there's nothing bad about them, but again, it's what we ascribe to them. I don't know exactly what Jimmy Page's symbol means. Could be something about the beginning and the end. Who knows? And then Jones's symbol, he's the keyboardist, bassist, John Paul Jones. He stays more in the background. If you ever want to check out some avant-garde stuff by him, look up Diamanda Galas. Galas, and he helped her produce stuff. That's a screaming fury witch that will get stuff moving in the etheric.
Go Greeks! Anyway,
go Greeks, exactly. Yeah. But so these guys are obviously master magicians, musicians, even though they might not practice any of this stuff. But Jimmy Page was interested in it, so he got the guys to do this stuff. It's just kind of fun to see behind the scenes. It's from the 1700s somewhere, I think, the symbol that Jimmy Page used. And the only thing I've been finding right now, looking at it, is for a book of magic that speaks about, it's in French, but you can try to research this stuff yourself. But again, we, of course, start freaking out, and everyone goes, they're Satanists, they've made deals with the devil, as soon as it's something a little bit outside our currently programmed, controlled system. My approach to the whole thing personally is I like to have a child-parent relationship to the universe at this time. I like to have a father, mother, God, source, or something much bigger than me. Now, I could say it's my higher self, but I like to talk to it directly inside me, inside my heart, inside my being. It's not formal. There's no ritual. There's no funny hats. There's no long robes. I don't have to swing incense around. I might light some smudging, or I might light a candle sometimes just to have in the house, because I prefer candles instead of electric light.
Yeah, it feels good. And it smells nice, Yeah. It's just because you like the smell of it or you like candles doesn't mean you're, worshiping it or... Yeah.
At a certain point, and I don't wear rings, I don't wear stuff. I just have never wanted to this lifetime. And one time when I was talking to a source about this, to one of my teachers about it, he said, well, you evolve. At a certain point, you really like all the symbology and the dream catchers and the Celtic figurines and this and that. And it's all good. But then at a certain point, you go simple again. You go, I am the temple. My body, this very mind, this very heart, this very personality. It's Jesus at the end of his life. I and my Father are one. Jesus isn't doing rituals. He's not got magic symbols, that he puts on his hands and stuff. He knows all about them, but it's not something to worship. It's something that is a game, just like astrology. Astrology, we could talk about some show. Yeah. Astrology is very accurate, but you are bigger than your stars. You are bigger than your planets. Your planets,
end all be all.
Yeah, your planets are a reflection. You chose these particular influences of energies, But you are bigger than them. Yogananda used to say, he said, I would pick the most difficult times according to the astrologers in my life, where I would have the most, quote, Mercury retrograde, negative energies, whatever. And he said, I would practice accomplishing things during those times.
Yeah.
Because to show, I am defeat your planets. It's also been said that way. So, symbology, nothing wrong, nothing to be afraid of. 666, 777, 1111, 333. Yeah. It's all good. Yeah. It all has its place. All numbers are holy, by the way. Now, when I go to the gym, they gave me the card. My number turned out to be 15777. So the universe is playing with me. But it also plays with things. Anytime you judge something, it will play with that too. Lately, I've been getting the 666 thing to the point where I license plates with 4 6s on it. You know, you can't make this stuff up, you know. A license plate up when we went to the Wolf Adventure said, ask 2666. I'm laughing. And then whatever you focus on is what starts showing up. And then you think about 7s, and then you get all the 777s, you know. Yes, it's the 444, the symbol of angels. Yes, 333, trinities, yeah, master numbers, 11s, 22s, 33s. Yes, it's all true. But don't start worshiping that stuff. Don't give your power over to any of it. It is there to serve you. It is there as a game. It is there as a reminder, a reawakener for you. You are the Creator. Don't you know that you are God's? Master Jeshua Ben David says. Don't you know you are God's? Not the God of the universe, but you are pieces of Source. You are the potential free will baby units of the Source of the universe. And Earth is a free will planet, so millions of us at this time are going to be reawakening to the fact that I am the only gateway I have. My heart, my mind, my solar plexus, my sexual gates, my creation, my security, my root chakras, my throat, my pineal gland, all that's whole spinal column, and my full sacred body temple is the only access point I have to feel both the oneness of the universe and enjoy individuality, enjoy the game of individualism so that we can interact. It's fun to interact with other pieces of ourselves when we come from this point of view. We can have a lot of fun. Sex and fun and play and love with each other is really fun. So I appreciate God having created this game, or we having created this game of seeming separation, but it's time to get rid of the pain and the confusion and the loneliness and the trauma that has happened around it. So one of those traumas has been worshiping symbols, and I recommend no more idolatrous worshiping the symbols. But remember that, as we knew as kids, tag, you're it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's my story.
That's your story. You're sticking to it. And it looks like, we're not going to really talk about, like, the stones and all of that we put in the show intro.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
You're listening to the future of talk. American Freedom Radio. This is American Freedom Radio.